back with the Tri-State Sports Guys, top of the Caperetti Studios here in Norwalk. Mike, this is. I mean, we've had some good guests.
We've been on a roll with guests, though.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
But here we are.
We're rocking and rolling.
We are. We're talking about, we're coming up on the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
Who better to bring on than the dean of high school sports?
Really is.
Yeah.
Mike, we got Mike Quick on the phone from MSG. Mike, how you doing today?
What's up, guys? Who won that potato sack race?
Oh,
Mike, you've covered a lot. You've covered a lot of sports in your day, but wouldn't you say that is a sport that's undercovered?
Absolutely, especially when you have guys like you in there sacking it out.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's
this
what I'm
guy's
talking
known
about.
all over the tri-state area for his sack racing skills. Osama.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've heard that's really good. We might have to get that on the show one night.
I would.
I think we need to.
Yeah.
Need the whole
Let me know. I'll
segment.
take you to the back alleys where they really play.
Yeah, down in Hightstown, New Jersey. All right. So, all right, Mike. So let's get into it. Obviously, it's a huge week for high school football. There's nothing really better to me than this Thanksgiving Day game. So we're going to cover that now. We film on Wednesday, so we're not going to be able to get to it next week. So obviously, we're based out of Norwalk. We cover Norwalk and McMahon a lot more than a lot of the other towns around the area. Norwalk's in a unique position where there's not a lot of towns in the state that only have 2 high schools. There's a lot of towns that obviously just have the 1 high school. Some of the bigger cities have multiple high schools. New Haven's got 9 high schools. Bridgeport's got 3. Norwalk's in a unique situation. We got 2 high schools. Clearly, you know who your rival is. It doesn't change year to year. Norwalk's rival is McMahon. McMahon's is Norwalk High. This year, I think it's shaping up to be a good game. Now, we've had a lot of Norwalk High kids on, but I want you to just break down McMahon a little bit. I mean, everybody knows about the quarterback Vega. What do they do well offensively and defensively that you could tell us a little bit about?
Well, the one thing they do great, and AJ guys have done a terrific job this year, getting out to big leads. The one thing they don't do well is they don't finish. I don't think there's a team, 3 wins now, 3 or 4 wins that they have. To me, there's no better 3 or 4 win football team in the state than Brian McMahon. I truly believe, guys, that if Norwalk thinks they're going over to Highland Avenue on Thanksgiving morning, just going to put a W in the win column for showing up and move on to the state playoffs, they've got another thing coming. This McMahon football team is very good. I watched them lose the heartbreaker to Staples, the 3rd game of the year, where they gave up 17 points in the last 7 minutes of the game. I watched them the following week blow a 12-point lead early in the 4th quarter to watch magical Matty Milano come down the field and pop one in the end zone with 37 seconds left when he hit Patrick Newton in the corner in the concession stand at Brian McMahon on that side of the football field. They've got guys. The Zach O'Connor kid, I love him. He epitomizes what high school football is all about. Double 3 goes out there, gets it done on both sides of the ball. Talked to Morris Petrasio after they beat them that night, that heartbreaker for McMahon. And I talked to him a week or so later, and I said, "What'd you think of the 33 kid?" He goes, "Ooh, all over the field." So they have personnel. There's no doubt about it. And what they have, and I think that's what makes Thanksgiving so exciting for them, and you guys did such a great job in your little setup here. There's nothing like Thanksgiving football. And if you can't play on that day to get into a state playoff, the next best thing is make sure you can knock your rivals out of the state playoff. So McMahon has so much to play for, and their Thanksgiving would be great if they could make Norwalk's bad.
Mike, what do you attribute the fact that they haven't been finishing to?
Oh, they're still a team, guys. There's a huge difference. And listen, let's not hide the facts. Sean is my cousin, the head coach of Norwalk High. I know you guys know him well. And I talk to Sean all the time about the difference between programs and teams. And I was standing that night up at McMahon when Staples came back, and my son Brian, who's an 8th grader at Nathan Hale, he said, "Dad, McMahon's going to win this game." I said, "Brian, there's a lot of time left. McMahon is still a team." He goes, "Well, so is Staples." I said, "Staples is a program. They find a way." That's the biggest problem right now, is that they are trying to become a program, and it's the hardest thing in the world to do. There's a lot of teams. Right now, Norwalk at 7-1 is a team. They're not close to being a program right now. They're making the right steps, but they need to make this step next year, the year after, and then the year after. You string success together in a public school over a 3 or 4 year span, you've now made the extent. you've excelled and you've stepped up that ladder to become a program. And programs win games when your back is against the wall. You don't.
Yeah, you know, we could segue that pretty well. We had Gil Arujo in last week and with Coach Ireland, and we talked a little bit about, you know, this great senior class that Norwalk High has. And so, you know, is this going to be just a one-year great team that they have that just happen to have a great senior class, or are they going to be the class that really turn the program around? So I think what you're saying is kind of what we've been saying on the show all season long. Now, you know, the things Norwalk has done this year have been fantastic. You know, granted, you could say their schedule hasn't been very tough. You know, you rattled off the losses that McMahon has, and Norwalk High hasn't had that type of schedule. They had a good win against Stanford. They had a great win against Ridgefield. They did lose to New Canaan, but then they had a lot of other games where, you know, they really should have won. So I think my question to you is, do you see Norwalk High this type of season being a type of season that could start to turn this team into a program, or do you just attribute it to a great senior class that has a lot of experience? A lot of these guys have been playing 3 years, and then next year it's kind of back to the drawing board. What do you think, having watched them play?
Well, guys, let's remember this. Ducci, being the class act that he is, he left Sean with a lot of personnel in that cupboard. I mean, there's a lot of things there. I think why this McMahon game becomes so big on Thanksgiving, it's more than just about a game to get to the state tournament. This is a game now about, whoa, we win. We go to 8-1. We make the state playoffs. So now that kid that's walking the hall at one of the biggest high schools in the state, who's never really thought about playing football, you get that in his head. There's an awful lot of athletes over there that aren't doing anything. You know, they're just out hanging out. That if they found a reason to play because let's face it, our society is about results. Kids today, they're different from kids 20, 30 years ago. They want instantaneous results. They don't want to have to work to get anything. They want it there. If the program is there, I truly believe they will come. That's why it's so important, this McMahon game. Yeah, to beat your rivals, you get into the States, now you've created a buzz. Because I'll be honest with you, all right, my daughter's a junior at Norwalk High, and last year when when Norwalk beat Greenwich on the first day of school that Thursday night, September 16th, she was at home. I called Katie up. I said, hey, no school tomorrow. They're going to cancel school. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, Norwalk just beat Greenwich. And I picked her up from school the next day. I said, so what was it like at school today? She goes, a little different. I said, do you see, Katie? That's the problem.
Yep.
Norwalk High needs to win this game, and they need to springboard. There's got to be an enthusiasm because, listen, I'm a huge believer in everybody who plays sports. Doesn't matter, field hockey, volleyball, cross country. You're on the crew team, that's great. You're in the band, you're on the chess club. As long as you're involved, that's the greatest thing in the world. But there's no bigger sport that will dictate the school year than football. It is the springboard to success for the entire school year. And that's what Norwalk High needs to do. They need to win. They need to have some success in the postseason in the States. And then hopefully that becomes the Pied Piper. And people just jump on board. And those kids that never thought about playing before start to play. Once that starts, guys, now you're moving from a team to a program because people want to be around winners.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, when I was in Norwalk High 10 years ago, we had a ton of athletes that just didn't play. Maybe they played their freshman year, they didn't want to work hard, this and that. And what's kind of strange even now is you read the paper, and our youth football is doing well. You know, you look at the younger kids; they seem to be. So it almost seems like everything's coming together. You see the fourth graders won the states. You see, the kids a little bit younger; they're doing very well. And there really was never that type of bitty football program, a Pop Warner football program that really thrusted a lot of people. I mean, when I played, most of the guys on our team had never played organized football before. So maybe you're right. I mean,
it's very simple, and I tell Sean this all the time. And when I see AJ, I'll talk to him about it. Especially in New Jersey, where I cover the Boscos and the Bergen Catholics and the St. Joe's and the St. Pete's. That's business over there. They all compete for kids. And do they recruit? Yeah, sure they do. And I tell Sean this all the time. You know what? You got to make sure the Silas Reds and the Kevin, Pierre Lewis's, that they don't get the kick. You got to make sure Noel Thomas stays at Norwalk High and doesn't go to St. Luke's. And I know that they'll dangle, scholarships and stuff like that. And who am I to say not to give a kid a better opportunity to go to a school like King or St. Luke's? But you know what? Build your program and make it so difficult for them to have to make that decision to go to that other school, because that's the problem.
Knowing what you do about both of these programs, and you've mentioned a few times that McMahon is the best 3-win team you've seen in the state. How do you see, if you had to pick, how do you see this game unfolding on Thursday?
You guys ever watch our show?
Oh,
Yes.
And when I put that face on it at the end,
yeah.
I will be picking this game next week, and I can guarantee you this. There's going to be some people in my family that might be upset with me.
I got that sense because you're talking about how they just haven't finished, but maybe with this rivalry, that's not going to be an issue.
There couldn't be a better team rolling in on Thanksgiving morning for McMahon than Norwalk High, based on the year that they have. I know it sounds crazy this year, so late in the season, to be talking about a 3-win team that's so good, but they're good. I mean, they've got some players. And again, it just comes down to they're still a team. And I talked to AJ about that. And, right after the Staples game, and he knew it. He's like, I say, hey, you lost to a program tonight. He goes, one day we'll be there, but we're not ready for that yet.
Right.
You know what? They're showing signs. They really are. I mean, games that they're losing, close ones this year, last year those were blowouts. So they're getting, I had 6 wins last year, but I tell you what, when you look at their program, even though they had 6 wins last year and they lose the tough one on Thanksgiving morning to McMahon, I know it's going to sound crazy, with 3 fewer wins this year, I think it's a better McMahon football team this year than it was last year. And people say you're crazy because they didn't have as many wins. Doesn't matter. You're building on it. You're laying the foundation. And they did some good things. And becoming a program is learning how to close. That's it.
Yeah, I watched the game. You guys covered it on MSG, the game against New Canaan. I watched that game, and they impressed me how well they played. But I want to get to a couple of other things around the area. I mean, the kid from New Canaan, the quarterback, extremely talented. He's going to go on and play at the next level. Give us a couple other names of some seniors around the area that you think we're going to hear about playing some big-time college football. I know the quarterback up at Massac is going to UConn.
Yeah, Casey Cochran's terrific. His offense, other than Bergen Catholic, I think they have the best passing attack in the Tri-State. What they do is terrific. He has great receivers. They run it like a college offense. It's a 3-step drop. It's hitting guys in position, getting guys in space, the whole thing. They're terrific. The guy that I'm really high on now, and I was so upset on Labor Day morning, he was hurt. He was hurt in the Greenwich scrimmage against Massac. Shane Nastowski. Well, that sounds like a linebacker.
Yeah, it does.
He's playing really well for Greenwich High School. I can't wait to see the Staples game. I'm really going to break down that game tape after, because if he plays the type of game that I think he can, I wouldn't be surprised on December 20th if he plays the way I think he can. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a first-team All-Metro guy with us over there at MSG Varsity. I think his game has really gone the farthest since this season started. I know a lot of people are excited about his ability to run out of the backfield, but he's going to butter his bread next level on the defensive side of the ball. He's got schools like Akron, Temple, UConn, all sniffing around. And you know what it is, guys? Everybody gets caught up in the speed. He's a 4.7 guy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Plays. I like to say all the time, when's the last time you saw anybody run straight in a football game? Never.
Exactly.
Never. So I'm really high on him. And I'll tell you this, and we talked about him on our show last night, I think the Bobby Stringfellow kid, Norwalk High, has an incredible upside. I think he could be a terrific football player at a Division II school. When you look at his body, close your eyes, 2 years from now, he's playing at 230 and just crushing people. I think he's got a great upside. Bobby Stringfellow, linebacker, Norwalk High.
Yeah, we've talked about him. We both think he's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you up in a potato sack race with the NBA lockout. You're going to have some free time because there will be some dead time between basketball and baseball. We'll get you up on that. Thank you very much. We won't tell Sean what you said about the Norwalk game. We'll let you break that to him.
Hey, I've already told him. I said, pal, you better be careful because AJ and the boys are coming.
They're coming.
Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, guys, you're doing a great job talking high school sports. That's terrific. Keep it up. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
All right, you too. Thank you, Mike.